Today, we're diving deep into one of the world's oldest collection of fables, the Panchtantra. We're going to unpack a story about how a single, well-told lie can bring down an entire kingdom. Now, you might think these are just children's tales, but no. This is a masterclass in psychological warfare. It shows how the right story can be the most dangerous weapon of all.
So that brings us to the big question, right? Can a story, something made of just words, actually work like a weapon? I mean, can it really shatter a bond that's supposed to be unbreakable and completely change who holds the power? Well, let's find out.
You know, it seems like every great tragedy starts with something that's really worth destroying. In our story, that something is the friendship between a powerful lion king, Pingalaka, and his most trusted advisor, an ox named Sanjivaka.
And listen, this isn't just some casual friendship. The king himself says Sanjivaka is as dear to me as my own life. Just think about that for a second. Their bond is the very foundation of the kingdom's stability. It's built on total, absolute trust.
But into this perfect picture steps our bad guy, a cunning, really ambitious jackal named Damanaka. He looks at their friendship not as a strength for the kingdom, but as an obstacle to his own power. So his goal? Oh, it's simple, and it's devastating. He wants to create chaos and completely destroy their trust.
So how does he do it? Damanaka doesn't just, spread a simple rumor. He's way smarter than that. To prove his point that cleverness is the ultimate power, he tells a story. It's a fable within a fable, and it's the perfect demonstration of his whole philosophy.
Okay, so the story is about this other lion king, Vasharaka, and he's a total tyrant, so destructive that the other animals make this desperate deal with him. They agree to send one animal to him each day for his meal. In return, he has to stop his random mass slaughter. It's this really fragile piece, held together by a pretty grim promise.
So one day, the lot falls to a small and what you'd think is a powerless hare. He's facing a really stark choice. Just accept his fate and get eaten, or somehow find a way to outsmart a creature that's infinitely more powerful than he is.
And here's where the genius comes in. The hare's plan isn't about fighting at all. It's about manipulation. First, he delays. He shows up late on purpose to make the lion angry and irrational. Then, he drops the lie. He invents a rival lion to hook the king's attention. But the key, the real key, is step 3. He provokes the lion's pride. He basically weaponizes the lion's own ego. And the final step? Lure the enraged king to the perfect trap.
Now, what's so cool about this moment is how the hare mixes flattery with provocation. He's praising the lion's power while pointing to the well, framing this fake enemy as a coward who's hiding from Basuraka's incredible might. He's literally turning the lion's own ego into the weapon of its own destruction.
And of course, the plan works perfectly. The foolish lion, totally blinded by rage, sees his own reflection and is convinced it's his rival. He lets out a huge roar, and the echo from the well roars right back at him. So, in one final, furious leap, he jumps in to attack his enemy and drowns. A perfect victory of brain over brawn. So, with that fable told, Damanaka has laid all his groundwork. See, he wasn't just telling a story, he was demonstrating a principle. Now, with the weapon of narrative all sharpened and ready, he's set for his real mission.
And he lays it right out there. The moral is crystal clear. It's not about your size or your strength. It's all about intelligence and strategy. The story of the hare was the proof, and now he's ready to apply that exact same lesson to his own king, Pingalaka.
And so, the main event begins. Damanaka goes to King Pingalaka, pretending to be concerned, and he starts to carefully plant the seeds of doubt, using the exact same principles of psychological manipulation that the hare used. Damanaka comes up with this devastatingly simple lie. He takes the reality that Sanjivaka is a loyal, peaceful friend, and he just flips it completely on its head. He paints this picture of a secret enemy, a traitor who's planning to kill the king and seize power. It's a total fabrication, designed specifically to prey on the king's deepest fears. The king's first reaction is exactly what you'd expect. He's just in absolute shock. He can't believe it. He's flabbergasted. The accusation goes against everything he knows and feels about his best friend. His trust is like a shield.
And he pushes back hard, relying on his code of honor. He argues that accusing a friend after praising him is like breaking an oath. He gave his word that Sanjivaka would be safe. He even says this incredible line, "It is not good to cut down even a poisonous tree if it has been planted by one's own hands." His loyalty runs deep.
But Damanaka, he is relentless. He knows that once that seed of doubt is planted, all it needs is a little water. So he counters every single one of the king's honorable objections with this cold, calculated appeal to royal duty and self-preservation.
Look at how he does this. He twists the king's honor and turns it into a weakness. Just like the hare provoked the lion's ego, Damanaka is now provoking the king's fear. He argues that the king showing pity is a violation of the royal code. He uses these old proverbs as weapons, warning that even good rulers get corrupted by wicked company. With every single word, he is taking apart the king's moral defenses, piece by piece.
And right here, this is the tragic turning point. The king's defenses are failing. His trust is completely shaken, and by asking for another story, he's signaling that he's now open to being convinced. Damanaka's weapon, the power of a story, is working.
So we're left with this. The hare's fable proved that a clever story can defeat a powerful body, but Damanaka's conspiracy? That proves something way more unsettling, that a clever story can poison a trusting mind, turning a king's greatest strength into the very weapon that brings him to ruin.